Good morning, everyone. I'm Mike Quirk, the Executive Director here at the Overlook, and if you'll give us approximately a minute or two, we'll just make sure all of our attendees have an opportunity to log on and to get their technology straight. So please stand by. I'm going to mute myself for the next minute or so, and then we'll get started. Thank you for coming today. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Most of you could probably see me fooling around with my tie because I can see myself. So welcome, everyone. Great to have you all, and thank you very much for attending this morning. To repeat, I'm Mike Quirk. I'm the Executive Director here at the Independent Living on our CCRC campus, Continuing Care Retirement Community Campus here at the Overlook in Charlton, Massachusetts. Again, thank you for joining. We also have in attendance our marketing partner who is helping us facilitate, Love & Company, and also from our team of sales, our sales and marketing team here at the Overlook, including Mariah Dengue, our junior sales advisor, Nora Kabaska, our sales advisor, and Danielle Darger, our director of sales and marketing. So we thank them all for attending as well. If you haven't spoken with them or interacted with them in the past, they are here and available both now and moving forward to answer any questions in the future and to continue to guide you as you endeavor into considering this as your future journey. And they are very apt and amenable and available to answer all the questions that you have along the way, because we understand and appreciate that this is a very important decision and a very important potential consideration that you're all making. So again, thank you for joining us today. I'm going to go through our presentation. It should take about 20 minutes or so, and then we'll have an opportunity to field questions and provide answers to as many questions as we can get to today. Those that we don't get to at the end, we will be able to follow up with you. One of our team who I mentioned will follow up with you with an answer to all of the questions from today's webinar. So again, we will appreciate anything that you have to inquire about, and we will address those at the end of the presentation, given this virtual format. I'll also note, given the times, that given the precarious situation now, I'm ordinarily wearing a mask, as all of our team members are. I have taken it off for this presentation so that you can clearly hear me, but we are fully in the midst of safe practice, as you can imagine, here at the Overlook. That being said, I'll take us through this presentation. And as you know, this presentation is geared toward pricing. But what I'm going to do for the first several slides is take you through a number of both informational and slides regarding amenities. I just want to be very open and upfront that this is not a heavy sales pitch. It's more the opportunity again, in being very open and upfront, to show you the amount of value as we lead up to talking more about pricing. And so the opportunity to understand and fully learn, again, as you consider this as a very important decision, understand the breadth of opportunity and value here as it relates to pricing is an extremely important notion. So I want to be able to show and offer all of the great amenities and services that we do provide. And I'll go through that fairly quickly and have an opportunity to, again, focus on presenting about pricing. This picture you see here just gives you some perspective of the history. The Overlook is a 100-year organization, not-for-profit, mission-based, and subsidized and endowed by the Masons of Massachusetts. And it has been up here since the Overlook Hotel, which you see in this picture, then proceeded to become a rest home for Masons, exclusively for Masons, for a long period of time before building on all of the other services and amenities that we have over the past 25 years or so to make this a dynamic full-service continuum and campus. The Overlook Hotel is where it all started. That gives you some perspective. The old hotel that you see in the picture is currently still up here. It has a different look and feel now, but this is where it all started and gives you just an idea that we have been up here providing care as an organization for 100 years. So there's a deep and rich history of caregiving and service and mission-based provision of those services here on campus at the Overlook. Here's the Overlook today. So the hotel is actually off in the top left. You can't really see it in this picture, but you can see everything that has been built on since, and especially over the last 20 years or so. Best of Central Mass, this just indicates sort of the accolades that we have been receiving in the past few years. Central Mass, Best of Central Mass is put out by the Telegram and Gazette, the sort of foremost newspaper publication in Central Massachusetts, and we've been voted Best of Massachusetts for senior living the past 2 years running, and hoping to do so again this year. And this has been a really big honor for us as it relates to putting us, giving us credit as it relates to our competition, and it's a really great place to be. It's voted on by residents, families, and the greater community. We have 14 cottages and 207 apartments as part of the buildings that you saw in the previous picture. So that campus where, and we'll see it a little bit later, and I'll point it out, there are 14 cottages that almost form a cul-de-sac adjacent to our 207 apartments, which are part of the main building here. And again, as I mentioned early on, this is a continuing care retirement community, and it's nestled on 450 acres in the heart of New England. The heart of New England piece is extremely important to us and to our residents, many of whom come from outside of the Central Mass area, because we are at the Mass Pike, I-90 and I-84, as well as minutes away from 290 and 395, both interstates as well. With that transportation infrastructure, this makes for an incredible destination as it relates to location and being able to, for instance, visit with children and grandchildren for many of our residents who may have those children and grandchildren in various parts of New England. The accessibility here in central New England is really incredible. What is a CCRC? A CCRC, as I mentioned, is a continuing care retirement community. Our community, as we're talking about here, and as I mentioned earlier, being the executive director of independent living, involves independent living, which is 62 plus retirement and independent living for our approximately 250 residents here on the independent living side. And it incorporates future healthcare offerings or offerings as you need them in the way of rest home or enhanced living, assisted living memory care, skilled nursing and rehabilitation, post-acute services, an adult day health center program, a large Overlook Visiting Nurses Association and hospice organization, and of course the independent living. So the opportunity to receive the health care that you need as you need it in the now and in the future for all of our residents is a big part of what people seek and realize as a large benefit and large value. We'll get into a little bit more about how those services are accessed and paid for as we move forward in the presentation. Amenities. There are a number of slides to go through, so I'll kind of go through them and talk as we go. What you see here is just a glimpse of one of our dining tables in Acacia, our restaurant, and also our pool in the fitness center. As far as health and fitness, those are a couple of our residents there, so I think it's great and speaks volumes that our residents participate with our collateral and get right out there and want to be part of the process of helping other residents like in kind and other great residents find our community. So this is the Health and Fitness Center. It's a very robust health and fitness center with workout machines, fitness classes, a pool with, as you can see, up to two lap lanes for swimmers side by side. We hold numerous water aerobics classes in there as well, and a jacuzzi tub as well. Here, another couple of our residents. This illustrates or highlights the walking trails. What you'll see is paved there. We also have miles of wooded trails as well that are not paved but more of hiking trails. We have miles of trails that are marked and accessible to our residents as part of the 450 acres. Tennis court and available for pickleball. We're starting to get involved and go down the road of exploring more pickleball as part of this offering with the tennis court. Large gardens and raised beds. I'll note that the gardens, especially this year, have been a big hit with folks being able to get outside, enjoy great peace of mind and respite in our gardens, and it really shows because there's a lot of activity, a lot of involvement. All of our plots at this point, and we do have opportunity to expand into more plots, but all of the existing plots are occupied, both ground plots and raised bed plots for those gardeners who are listening and watching. And it's really been a great opportunity for our residents. And that's just a glimpse of what that looks like, and that's actually our gardens. 280-seat performing arts center. And it's not going to be highlighted here, but adjacent to this, we also have outdoor space where we have summer concerts. We've actually been able to continue to do those with greater frequency, smaller crowds, and with social distancing and making sure we're taking care of all the recommended guidelines and precautions right now. But between the Performing Arts Center as an entertainment venue, also our outdoor space, we've really been able to continue to have a great life enrichment program as we've moved through the situation. But the 280 seats in the Performing Arts Center also gives us a great ability to have a nice crowd and some really marquee performances and other types of lectures and the like in this Performing Arts Center. It's fully fitted with over $1 million worth of audio-visual equipment. You can see some of the speakers hanging and whatnot on the ceiling and lighting. It's really an official, fully working performing arts venue. Pool table, game room, another area for leisure within our common space that folks take advantage of. A full woodworking shop that is fitted with, I will tell you, all the tools that are needed for most of our residents or the residents who do access this space. Really another great activity, leisure activity for our folks, enriching and contributing to quality of life where you might have moved away from your garage space or wherever in your home that you might have done the woodworking in the past. Great room. This is really a flexible space for us adjacent to our restaurant, which offers the opportunity for, again, more activities, more presentations, smaller group presentations, lectures, and other activities. So this is another great amenity that we enjoy. You can see high ceilings, very bright, and it's adjacent again to our restaurant and key courtyard. Some of the clubs that folks participate in, and as it notes on the top of the slide, there are over 50 resident-run clubs. There are other committees it's worth noting too, like core committees that report as part of our resident council too, for those that are interested in a little bit more formalized resident government involvement. But the sampling of clubs includes the Brew Crew, who you see here. There's over 50 participants in our Brew Crew, who with our resident brewmaster, who lives in our community and is a resident, continue to brew different varietals of beer each month, and they bottle, brew, and do everything here on site, only for our own consumption, not for the outside, but as an activity, and it's really been a really enriching activity. Cross-country skiing. There's hiking, which is not on here, but also works with the walking club and has been participating with our new trails and with fitness to do guided hikes. Photography club, the gardening club, as I mentioned before, that oversees and sort of facilitates the opportunities for our gardeners to get out there, the wood shop, and many, many more. There's some conveniences and other amenities here on campus: the salon, spa, and barber shop, a general store, resident-run general store, a fully operating branch, which is open 3 days a week, and it's part of Country Bank, which is a local bank. Computer Communication Center, so there's a full computer room as well, and these are just examples of additional conveniences here for our residents. Dining options: we have Acacia Restaurant, it's elegant dining, fine dining, upscale, and we have a chef who has a James Beard Award. He's our corporate executive chef and chief of culinary services, and he has been, over the past year, really increasing opportunities for farm fresh and farm to table style dining, and also just enhancing the level and quality of our food and delivery of the services. Tucker's Cafe, which is bistro style dining, and a private dining room for entertaining guests, which accommodates up to 12 people. Another picture of Acacia to give you a feel for what that experience looks like. This is Tucker's and the adjacent outdoor patio. So again, a cafe and bistro style dining experience. Full calendar of activities. We mentioned some of the venues that these occur in. As we had in the past, that's actually our Life Enrichment Director, Stephanie. And so we continue to facilitate all kinds of opportunities, whether it's the clubs or just a full calendar of daily opportunities for anyone to build a high quality of life with a lot of enriching opportunities and events. Cross-country skiing, as we noted, again, I don't want to belabor the point, but there's a lot of land and opportunity to get outside for those who enjoy the outside and cross-country skiing, walking, etc. Games, you see the putting green there, other informal games, croquet, and others that our folks tend to just go out and take advantage of, either on their own or when we have more formal game days. That's all of the amenities that I said I really wanted to go through, and I try to do it as quick as possible so that it's not overbearing, but also, again, really to highlight the value that's involved in coming here, because beyond just the living space where we take care of facilities, maintenance, and the things that might burden you in your own home, we also offer all these other opportunities to create and really build your own high quality of life as you see fit. And it's really about having the opportunities to do so and having the choice to do as little or as much as anyone would like to do. But again, you can see and get a flavor for all the options that there are. And again, that relates to sort of quality of life, health promotion, wellness, etc. We'll talk a little bit more as we talk about pricing about the other side of the spectrum, which, other than health promotion, wellness, and quality of life, is the healthcare implements that we also offer when you need them. So we have fee-for-service contracts, and a fee-for-service contract offers a lower entrance fee and monthly fees, as you can see here. And by lower, I mean in comparison to our life care contract, which I'll talk about in a second, which includes healthcare costs and a component that contributes to future healthcare costs. This will give you a Still the same access, the fee-for-service contract, to all of the levels of care and healthcare amenities that we provide across, again, our continuum and our campus, and including VNA. As a member of our community and our continuing care retirement community, everyone is granted access and preferred access to all of our services as really a benefit for continuity of care, understanding of you as a person, and being able to take care of you in different settings as you need it. You, your spouse is another example, if that's appropriate in your situation. And so we have a lot of different scenarios where people can access those levels of care, whether you have the fee-for-service contract or not. Some folks who opt for the fee-for-service contract, just an example, may have long-term care insurance and therefore prefer that insurance to the life care contract for various reasons. Again, our sales advisors, myself, and others on our team can help guide you through that journey as you have further questions. But just understand that there's a fee-for-service contract which offers a lower entrance fee and a lower monthly service fee because, again, it does not include the coverage for future medical costs or healthcare costs in our continuum, long-term care costs. Then the life care contract, if you look at bullet point number 2 on the bottom, so with the life care contract, your initial entrance fee and monthly fees are higher than the fee-for-service because you are prepaying for long-term care costs in anticipation of future needs. So more specifically, when you pay the initial entry fee and the premium for monthly service fee, you have included in that, for the same monthly service cost in perpetuity, access to long-term care in our skilled nursing setting and also in our enhanced living, which is an assisted living type model in between independent and skilled nursing. What is life care? As I mentioned, it provides lifetime access to the full continuum of services on the Overlook, and again, access is granted and available for those on fee-for-service and life care. But some of the services, as I mentioned, long-term care and enhanced living, are covered at no additional cost beyond what you are paying in your monthly service fee. And again, we can continue to answer any further questions you have on this, but this is an opportunity to essentially prepay for future medical expenses in the form of long-term care, skilled nursing, and enhanced living. The entry fee is a one-time payment. That the additional prepayment, as we mentioned, is more than the fee-for-service entry fee. That's a one-time payment. It is tax deductible, and we provide that information for people in for our residents and their tax professionals. It allows for predictable monthly service fees. In other words, higher levels of care cost more. So where there might be a variability, if you have a fee-for-service contract and you go access long-term care, the monthly fee for that is greater. If you are covered through life care, the fee is the same whether you're in independent living or in long-term care in perpetuity. What that does is controls the cost of inflation too, or the inflation of those fees for skilled nursing, the nursing home, enhanced living. Those costs rise all the time where they have major healthcare components and are regulated and subsidized by Medicare and Medicaid. They are variable costs that tend to rise over time. So the opportunity to lock those costs in through our life care is attractive to many. Residents have, as I mentioned, priority access to on-site health care. It preserves your financial assets. And what that means is that, again, with the fee-for-service and with others not members of our continuum that access skilled nursing, they pay the private pay rates, which essentially will spend assets more quickly than if you have the fixed cost on a life care model, thereby preserving your assets, your entry fee, and whatever other assets that you have in savings that are unspent after for beneficiaries. And so many of our residents want to preserve those assets as much as possible for their beneficiaries, sons, daughters, etc. It can be used in conjunction or in lieu of long-term care insurance. So in other words, some people opt to preserve their long-term care insurance while opting for the life care contract. Others will do one or the other. Back to the contract options to get into more detail about the actual cost of these. And again, there's a lot of information behind all of this, so our sales advisors can continue to guide you through the process. Our fee-for-service entry fees start at $82,500 for our smaller units. Refundable options are 0% and 85%. Just to touch on that, refundable entry fees at 0% are discounted, but there is 0% refund on those. So in other words, over time, more of it is kept by the community for use and not returned. So over time, 0% of the entry fee is refunded. 85% is refunded in the other option. So in other words, a lot of residents who opt for the 85% may leave that to a beneficiary for a refund later. Monthly service fees start at $1,800 for perspective per month. Life care entry fees start at $82,500 as well. But as you can see, if you go to bullet point number 3 under life care on the bottom, life care premiums start at $50,000. So in addition to the $82,500 or more on your entrance fee for life care, $50,000 additionally is paid into those future costs for medical expenses. But again, it preserves your monthly service fee at the same rate in perpetuity. The refundable options are the same at 0% or 85% refundable. Monthly service fees start at $2,550. So to highlight the difference between the $2,550 and the $1,800 in the fee for service, that premium again contributes to preserving that monthly service fee in perpetuity should you need access to our long-term care, which is included in the life care contract, or our enhanced living. And for perspective, the rates in the field for skilled nursing vary, but are roughly $400 to $500 per day for stay in skilled nursing. So if you do the math, you can understand that preserving your monthly service fee at $2,550 or greater is of great benefit when you're talking about a private pay number that is upwards of $13,000 to $14,000 per month in a nursing home. Monthly service fees include all of the things listed here. So as mentioned before, briefly as we talked about amenities, maintenance, all your building maintenance, grounds, snow removal, trash removal, all of those kind of headache-free options and opportunities from moving from your own house where you'd have to take care of these things are included. And then all of the value-add quality of life opportunities that we talked about earlier with the amenities that we went through. And again, it includes all expenses other than there is a cable option that we actually are able to offer at a bundled reduced rate through our cable provider. But other than that, everything is included in your monthly service fee. There are no surprise costs as it relates to your regular cost of living. Here's an example of one of our floor plans in an enhanced model, 3-dimensional. That is an Aspen apartment, and those are the details around the Aspen apartment. Again, I'll move fairly quickly through this so that we can make this an effective presentation, time effective, but our folks can certainly answer more questions as it relates to these options and as it specifically relates to your interest and whatever option meets your needs best. This is a cherry model. So this floor plan we identify as our cherry model, and you can see what that prospectively looks like in 3 dimensions in the picture there. The cherry, it's 965 square feet, 1 bedroom, and you'll see that the 0% option starts is at $143,500. The 85% is $255,000 entry fee, with monthly service fees of $3,105. The The second person add-on, so for couples, is $1,030 per month. And again, it includes everything from a cost of life perspective that we mentioned earlier. Here's an example of the Maple. It's a little bit larger floor plan, 1,400 square feet, 2-bedroom, 2-bath. You can see the entry fees are $238,000 with monthly service of $4,244. 85% refundable option, $340,000 entry fee with a monthly fee of $4,400 with the same monthly service fee add-on for the second person. Cottage pricing. So we mentioned the cottages. We do not have cottages available currently, but as an example, the Willow Cottage is 1,595 square feet, 1,595 square feet, 2 bedrooms, den, 2 baths, and a finished basement. So it offers a little. It's a more of a detached living option, a little bit larger. Again, a walk from the main amenities, the core building, or a quick drive. It is adjacent to the main building, but that is the option for cottages, and just gives you some perspective on the cottage pricing. Again, this I referred to earlier is a great aerial view, which in the top left corner shows you the cottages. So to give you perspective, the main building is right in front of you, and the independent living is directly in front, where you see carports in the back, a big village green where we do hold our summer concerts, and in the back, in the top left, you'll see those cottages. So to give you perspective on what that looks like. That's the presentation. So I'm glad we were able to provide you with that information, at least as a broad brush or in general terms. Again, our sales advisors are here to help you through this process and with more specific information. We'll also open it up now to questions and answers. And so if you'd like to take the opportunity to put a message, type a message or a question into the dialog box on your screen, we will be able to field those. And I'm going to look at a second screen, so bear with me as you see me looking to a second screen on my left, which would probably look like your right, to take some of the questions and start to identify the questions, which I will read aloud and answer the best I can. So here we have a question: what is the waiting time for an available apartment? So the answer to that varies on what style and type of apartment that you are looking for. Some we have available immediately. Some may either need reservation, or if it's a specific floor plan that we don't have available, may take time to open up. So it does vary. As we noted, we just gave a flavor for the 3 sample floor plans that we offered. We do have other floor plans as well, so there are a lot of different options. There are a lot of different locations throughout the building, some with direct outdoor egress, some higher up that have different views. So there are a lot of different options, each one being a little bit uniquely different. And so the opportunity to get in sort of varies time-wise. If an apartment is available, to give some perspective, and needs to be renovated or spruced up based on, because we do turn over to newer finishes, most of our apartments, unless they've already been updated with our new finishes, and that process takes typically about 45 days or so to renovate an apartment. If an apartment's ready to go, we can get you in even quicker than that. So it does vary, but we can help folks move in quickly, especially where the real estate market is still moving and people tend to be selling their houses pretty quickly. So we've moved people in quick when needed. Next question is, how is your community different than a 55 and over community? So I would say the easiest way to answer that is by, again, highlighting or reiterating the breadth of amenities that we went through with the slides and all the different offerings that we have supplemental to just living in your apartment, where maintenance and other day-to-day activities and upkeep are sort of taken care of. In a 55 plus, there's a lot more sort of reliance on the resident or homeowner, whatever that style looks like in 55 and over community, to take care of a lot more than is offered at with worry-free convenience here. Also, the opportunity to have the fitness center, the restaurant, all the other amenities that we have here, that can vary depending on the 55 plus community as well. This is a much more dynamic offering, which again really includes as a huge value add and value proposition that the elements of quality of life and a whole quality of life that is offered and facilitated with all the options that we mentioned earlier. Oh, the other thing to note, I think that's important on a 55 plus, or the difference between this and 55 plus, we do often see folks who move into a 55 plus come here later because there's a lot more offerings around future healthcare needs and other things as well, so that it tends to be an opportunity to make one move versus the potential need for two moves, meaning if you move to a 55 plus, someone may contemplate or be interested in moving to this later. And we've seen folks make the one move here and be extremely happy with their quality of life for a long period of time. Now, next question is, where is the nearest hospital, and do residents use UMass Worcester? So we participate with both major Worcester hospitals, UMass Memorial and its university campus, as well as St. Vincent's in Worcester. So to answer the question about the Worcester hospitals, that is about a 20-minute ride from here, and many of our folks choose to use those networks or access those hospitals if they choose, and if time will allow it. If, for instance, there's an emergency, then they're able to get to those hospitals as well very quickly. Harrington Hospital is our local provider in Southbridge, and they were just recently acquired or are merging with the UMass Memorial Provider Network. So that has been a change that I think is to the benefit of both our residents into this local community, that Harrington Hospital is now part of the UMass network of hospitals. So that's UMass, for anyone who's not familiar, is a major hospital and medical services provider in central New England, and probably the biggest and most successful hospital organization and medical organization in central New England, outside of Boston. Next question is, do you have an application or qualifying process for a new resident? And the answer is yes. So the qualifying process includes a financial application process and a health screen. And I'll just speak to why we have that process. It's all geared toward, and in conjunction with, like I mentioned before, presenting or providing the opportunity to live healthy and well for a long period of time here, thereby leveraging all the services from a health promotion and quality of life perspective to live healthy and well and the best you for as long as possible. All that being said, we really want to ensure that there's financial stability and wherewithal for folks to be able to make the entrance fee payment, and also to make the monthly service fee payment in perpetuity, and to maintain health and wellness for a long period of time here, and to really maximize the value of living in this type of environment. The health screen, given that we operate not only in independent living and with other levels of care, we have a lot of perspective on, again, making sure that it's the appropriate setting, because independent living, it's worth noting, is not a need-based or healthcare or medical model. It's a social independent model, non-medical. The other services that we have attached do have medical professionals, and meaning like skilled nursing, for instance, has medical director, medical professionals, nurses 24/7, et cetera. So that is more of a medical model where independent living is not. Hence the health screen to qualify that someone can live safe and that they don't have complex medical needs that cannot be met in independent living, because again, this is a long-term opportunity, and we do not want to get off on the wrong foot and look at it on a short-term basis. We want to ensure that folks can live healthy, well, and financially stable for in perpetuity here. Do you have apartments available now? Next question is, do you have apartments available now? And the answer is yes. You can certainly, the next step would be to coordinate with our sales advisors, and they can do what they do to guide you toward meeting your specific needs and talking to you further about specific availabilities. But there are apartments available now. Question about biking paths, trails, and storage. So the storage, to address the storage piece, there is a storage locker associated with each apartment. Cottages have garages and storage within those units. So those units have storage within. In the main building, all of the apartments have a lower level storage cage or locker, which is where most folks store their things and belongings in storage. There's also adequate closet space, or really I think well appropriated closet space and high ceilings and space within the apartments, but it is limited, so there is additional storage available as well. The other question was how much do the monthly service fees increase each year? I will say that being at multiple communities and being here for approximately 3 years to share with the history, the monthly service fee increases range typically 3 to 3.5% per year. When we do the financial qualification, we do take that into consideration as we help you take a look at assets and how long you're going to be able to sustain in this community paying the monthly service fee. We do take that into consideration because that is not only an expectation that we want to put out there, that again, monthly service fees to cover things like cost of living increases to goods and services that the community pays, and also increases to like wages for staff. Those are just examples of things that increase sort of in perpetuity. So that modest monthly service fee increase covers those types of increases to the community. And again, our goal is to be sustainable as a nonprofit mission-based organization. So it's not to increase or enhance profits at the expense of our residents. It's to continue to sustain our community as a community of stakeholder residents who contribute to the increase in cost expenses and cost of living expenses each year. So it typically ranges 3 to 3.5%. We have an extremely dynamic operational budget process which determines this. We share all that information with the residents through our town meetings, town hall meetings, and also with myself and the chief financial officer, share that information in what goes into those increases each year, so that it's fully transparent and everyone understands what goes into it and why. Okay, so there's a question about monthly service fees as it relates to dining. And the question is, can you explain the dining plan? Are any meals included in the monthly service fee? So we have a declining balance allotment as part of the monthly service fee for dining. At this point, it's at 500 credits. But to give you perspective, 500 credits per month per resident. To give you perspective on that 500 credits, an example is our filet mignon entree, for example, in Acacia restaurant, is in the range of $18, where in a retail restaurant that might be $34 to $35. So the 500 credits, and I call them credits because it's not real dollars, it's a spend down account that you are allotted 500. If you have anything left over, there's no return on it. It's just you renew your 500 credits for the following month. If you go over, you have to contribute on top of your monthly service fee, whatever additional charges. So it gives you the flexibility it gives residents the flexibility to spend within the $500 with, again, modestly priced entrees that really give them the opportunity to have a substantial dining experience each evening and to have some other opportunity to dine during the day. The opportunity to have it flexible, I think, is extremely important and beneficial to our residents because it gives you the opportunity to piece together your own pathway toward what makes the most sense for you as far as breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We do offer breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Some people decide to spend most of it on the dinner. Some people opt to spend more at lunch and have a heavier lunch, etc. So the flexibility really in the 500, the flexible spend account is important. Next question, which is a good one, is can I come visit the Overlook at this time? Thank you for asking. I'm glad someone asked this question because it is obviously precarious times. We have done a lot to keep our community extremely safe and our residents extremely safe, secure, and happy and well through this. Therefore, we've developed safe protocols for many of our operations throughout everything we do, basically. And as it relates to touring, we do have a safe touring protocol. So by appointment, we have an opportunity to get folks onto campus. We've continued to tour safely. We've also continued to move folks in safely, and I'll give you just a brief description of that because I think it's important. We do a professional decontamination of all the areas where we move someone in, and so that pathway is decontaminated after a move-in, and we have folks have the ability to move in safely, not at the risk of our community. And our sales advisors can certainly explain more about that, but I just want to highlight that everything we do right now has to do with safety and keeping our community safe and well. But touring is available. Can we meet with sales staff remotely, such as Zoom, is the next question. I think the answer is yes, and this is a good example. In lieu of on-site marketing events, for example, we are doing today a webinar and presenting things as much as possible virtually and trying to keep everybody safe, whether it's our visitors, our team members, our residents, so that the more we can do virtually to cover whatever we can, we are certainly amenable to that, and we fully appreciate there's different comfort levels for all of our folks who are considering this. So if you're most comfortable doing something virtually to gather as much information as you can, our sales advisors are extremely flexible on how they communicate with you and provide information. So this question is just about like demographic range and what our sort of our community looks like. There is a mix. The best way to explain it is there's a mix. We've been open for 14 years. We have some folks who have enjoyed all of those 14 years, moved in at the beginning, and maybe aging as they've lived here. We also have folks who are moving in on the beginning of that journey. So there's a pretty broad age range of independent folks. Again, 62 years and older. We've got some folks in their 70s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and even 90s. And we've got some folks in upper 90s still using the health center that have lived here for a period of time and are still independent and well. And I think it highlights the importance is that it's different for everybody. Our healthcare needs are different, our journey is different, but the whole goal is to live as healthy and well and the best you as possible. And I would definitely say that as it relates to demographics, the goal is, and we really encourage folks to move in on the earlier side of that spectrum to gather the full benefit. And we have a lot of folks moving in on sort of the earlier range of the age spectrum so that they can really realize the full benefit. We have some folks who will just blatantly tell you that they wish they moved in 5 to 10 years earlier. to fully realize these benefits. So it's a mix, and our average age is probably in the low 80s at this point, but that just highlights that we have everyone, people from 60s to 90s. I think that's going to wrap it up. Again, we got to whatever we could as far as questions. If there are other questions that you've submitted, we will make sure to reach out. Our sales advisors will reach out to you directly and be able to give you some information as it relates directly to your question. And certainly if something comes up or if you have any questions as we move forward, Nora, Mariah, and Danielle, our sales team, are here to answer those questions for you. Again, I can't thank you enough for considering us as an option. Our team of service staff and team members are here to take care of and serve other people. That's what we do. And we're happy that you would consider us in the first place. And we really are here to help guide you, understanding that this is an important journey for you and a very big decision in life. So whatever we can do to help provide information as you deliberate, by all means, we're here to serve. Thank you very much, and have a great afternoon.